Hello, so this is going to be a relatively quick tutorial for using the local window capture method, assuming you already know the URL extraction method. So to give you an idea, that is using Sawa's newer method if you already know April's method. And yeah, we'll get right into it. The TLDR here is everything is going to be the same except for how you actually capture the runner streams. So the background's going to be the same, a lot of the settings are going to be the same, commentary is going to be the same, text, all that stuff. So the only difference is how we're actually capturing the streams. So that's why I have this completely new scene here, because the only thing we actually need to learn is how to capture those scenes. So to do that, we're going to find, first of all, the Twitch stream that we want to capture. So I can go to Twitch, and we'll see who's live. Skate's live, so we'll use this. So this is just an example. Obviously, you're going to use whatever stream you're restreaming. Yeah, obvious. Dummy. So to do this, what we need to do is, instead of even going to sources here, you want to go to your terminal. So I'm using git bash here. You can use a normal Windows terminal. You can use whatever you want. You see some things up here. You don't really need to pay attention to them. But what you're going to type in this terminal is, again, we're going to go to, this is the, I guess, text version of the tutorial of this method. But you're going to go and copy this. So this is the important thing you need to know. You can just use Streamlink here, but the issue with this is if you just use the Streamlink command, after about 100 seconds, a minute and a half or so, it'll depend on the stream quality, you won't be able to sync them anymore. You will basically run out of memory in VLC, to my understanding. I don't exactly know what's happening, but the TLDR is just use this entire command. You're going to copy this, go into your terminal here, paste that, so right click paste in the case of git bash, and then whatever Twitch stream you wanted. So again, we had, I lost skate stream. Okay, we had skate stream here, copy this and paste it here. So what this should do, if I hit enter, is it'll give you all the different quality options. Now, assuming you know the other method, you know which quality option is best for you. I almost always use 480. So to do this, I'm just going to copy this, although you could write it out. We're going to do that same command we just did, including that whole Twitch at the end, and then we're going to paste 480p, or if you wanted to do 720p 60, you'd paste that, etc. Hit enter here, and what this will do is it'll automatically open VLC. I apologize if it's loud, I don't really know the volume mixing that I have. But this opened on my other monitor, but this will open and this will have skate stream, and this will only be delayed by about 5 seconds as opposed to the normal like 30 seconds that you get using April's method, so just keep that in mind. And it'll buffer a little bit at the start. It should be okay. Probably won't buffer anymore from now, but it's getting it basically live, which is why you have those buffers. And then this is what we're going to restream. So if you put this in full screen here, this needs to stay in full screen always. That's very important. You can't minimize this, and if you have this muted, the audio won't come through, so this should stay unmuted always. I'll unmute it at a pretty low volume because I'm not sure what's mixed right now. You might not be able to hear it at all, but I can hear like a little bit of something. And then we go to OBS here, and then this is what you're going to add. You're going to add this window capture, and then we'll make a new one. So we'll call it, like, let's say skate is the left runner. We'll say left runner, okay. And then we go to window and we're gonna find, it automatically found it, but we're gonna find this VLC that we just opened. Capture method, automatic, and this is very important, this window match priority, you really wanna make sure this is window title must match or you will run into a lot of problems. So very important to keep this on window title must match. We generally don't want to capture cursor, although it's not really a big deal. We hit OK. Oh, capture method. So this is because I'm on Windows 10. If you're on Windows 10, use Windows 10. Yep, obvious. Insane. And again, don't capture the cursor. So you're going to want to crop this so they don't see the VLC bits, because that's annoying, but just a little bit of cropping, not too big of a deal. And then generally, because we have the timer in a different spot, what you're going to want to do is down here, just hit Control-C for copy, Control-V for paste. Now we have 2 instances of this. We can crop one of them so that we only see the video, like this. I'm not going to do a great job cropping because it doesn't really matter, you get the point. And one of them so you only see the timer. And of course you'd have your whole layout and stuff behind these, so you'd put these wherever they actually need to go. You've hopefully cropped before. And then we'd get another stream, so I'm not going to go through it, but we would do the same thing. We'd go here, you'd have to open a new terminal because this one is currently having the VLC stream open. So I would go here, open a new terminal, and then again we'd run the command, the same command we just ran. So this whole stream link, ring buffer, blah blah blah, and then with your other Twitch channel, and you do go through the same thing again. And then I'll remind again, you really want to make sure that this thing stays full screen. It can be in the background as it is right now, but it has to be full screen. If I minimize this, you'll see it just completely freezes on the restream. The timer's frozen, the stream's frozen, everything's frozen. So make sure to keep this full screen. And then if you make it smaller, it'll mess with the cropping. So again, full screen, full screen, full screen. And then the nice thing about this method is to delay a stream. So let's say Skate were like 20 seconds ahead. We can very easily just open this and hit pause. And this will work for up to about 5 minutes with the command that I gave with the ring buffer. If you just use the normal stream link command, it will probably fail after about 90 seconds, 100 seconds. It depends on the quality that you're downloading at. But yeah, blah blah blah, we pause, we're paused, the other stream's running. Let's say we can unpause now, and they're about the same time, and it will very smoothly just unpause and keep going with the timer. And you see OBS handles it very well. Again, it's full screen in the background, so this is just going to play normally, and now the runners would be, in theory, synced. So audio, there are 2 ways to do it. The way that I wouldn't recommend, I'll start with because it's easier. You can just mute and unmute this. Mute, unmute, it works. The reason I don't do this is because you kind of lose your own ability to preview the other stream if you're muting and unmuting this, and then of course you'd mute and unmute the other VLC window. Just make sure only one is playing at a time, exactly one is playing at a time. Yeah, you know how to balance audio around that. You will hear this in the background. You only hear one stream in the background, which is nice. The other way to do it, which is slightly more complicated, is you can add another source here. We're going to add an application audio capture. We'll call this runner left capture or audio. Okay, and then again, we want to make sure we're on this window title must match. Because these are both VLC, you're going to have multiple VLC windows open. You'll run into a lot of issues if you don't do this. And then we're going to find the VLC here, this, okay. And then you can mute and unmute this as long as you keep this unmuted in the background. So this way you never have to leave OBS. You can keep both these windows just running unmuted in the background. Yes, it's annoying to listen to, but it's relatively quiet. OBS picks it up kind of better than my headset does, at least for me. So I don't need to worry about it too much. It's pretty quiet in the background, but I can still hear it enough to tell if the right thing is playing. And then you'll have this, and you would have a runner right audio, and you can mute and unmute in here. So those are your options for audio balancing. And that should be everything. If you have any questions, you can ask in the Restreamer channel or ping me directly. And then if you're not following any of this tutorial because you haven't watched April's method, there is a tutorial specifically just for this method from start to finish by Sawa. It's much longer. And then if you want to learn April's method, there's a tutorial for that as well. The place, one last thing here, the place that I actually copied this from, this local window capture tutorial, you should have access to this if you're following the tutorial on Google Docs. If not, I'm just going to have this linked in the video description. And you only need it for this command. Everything else is just kind of, you can read it on stream here, but everything else is just supplemental knowledge for what this streaming actually is. So that should be it. Thanks. Bye.